Everyone, we're back to do my final segment of Lord of the Rings Online. Where I last left it was we were Kevin Sorbo. We were in Archet and we were attempting to sort shit out like we always seem to be doing. And the quests we currently have are... let's have a look. Let's just move this slightly along so I can click properly. Entrance to the Claver Hunters. You've got to finding reason. Search. I've got to search for Bali. We've got to collect the Builder's Aerox toolbox. I can visit the... right, that was the Coombe thing. It was that thing I got in there, so I don't need to worry about that yet. It's the Proprietor of Coombe. Oh yeah, so that's telling me to go to Coombe as well. Oh, and this bloke here, who I never even noticed, has a quest. Oh, is he a crafter dude?
Would you do something for me?
Depends. How much you pay me. Where did he want me to go? Where is Roderick? He's in Coombe. Okay, cool. So I think if I know what I'm saying here, I think it's wanting me to go to Coombe. But I wanna make sure I do all the quests here first, so let's go. Oh, did I get some new stuff? Increases the movement speed. Oh, excellent. Movement speed. Let's get that on the go. Duration's only 10 seconds, that's annoying. Routing Cry. Deals light damage to nearby foes. The skill is more poignant. Oh, I aggroed something. Oh, another. Hello. Let's get rid of you then. In your face, in your face, in your face. Ah, great. So it's gonna giving me options. Deals light damage to nearby foes or a rallying cry. Very good. Very good, Mr. Bond. Ooh, dead hunter and a hunter. In your face, spider. I wish my life would be so much easier. I'm going the right way, aren't I? Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is where Bali would be. Stay back. No, not staying back. I'm gonna attack these dudes. Oh, again, I don't think I can. I don't think these are. I think these are neutral, but I can. Yeah, I might as well kill them because of the deed. Even though I said I wasn't gonna do that on the stream, but I lied. No, I think it's. I don't want to end up trapped or something. That I end up like if I'm in the middle and I just aggro everything. That wouldn't be fun. Oh, there he is. There's Mr. Bally. Mr. Bally, you don't look well. Most likely he's probably dead, like everything else. Just carnage everywhere. You see, they waited too long to get the legend that is Kevin Sorbo back into the fray. Right. Okay, he's dead, and it says I've got to what? Find within the caves. Is there a cave here? Ah. Is there a cave here? Maybe this big giant door is a cave. God, my powers of observation. Second to none. Okay. We have a broad hunter. How broad? How broad are you? Was it brood or brood? Probably brood. Are we saying that wrong? Okay, so they're in the cocoons. People, we're looking for cocoons. And not for butterflies. Okay. It looks, that's apparently a path on there, but it's not. It's lying its arse off. I just lied in your arse tonight. It's nothing you'd like to hear more on a stream than average, I would say, 80s music. We were having this debate last night with my friends when we were playing board games that I have a friend, my friend Norman, who's hilarious, makes the argument that he's about, I'd say, 10 years older than me. I'm not actually sure how old he is, but he makes this argument that, you know, they should just erase the 80s from history. Like, there's just no, it has no purpose in history. Like, it just hasn't contributed anything substantial, which I argue with him stringently, because I make the argument of some of the best films and ideas came out of the 80s. Like, the second two Star Wars were in the 80s. The originals, obviously, I'm talking about. Blade Runner, the Alien films. I think all Alien films are 80s at least. The first Lethal Weapon, which I think is a really underrated action film. I mean, that's like really good. Because it actually has some depth to it, with the fact that Mel Gibson's character is suicidal. For like a real, you know, reasonable reason. He's not basically just someone who is upset about the world. And I really think he plays that really well. And yeah, there's just all sorts of other examples that of films that, you know, I think if I spent any time thinking about, was The Burbs. Was The Burbs the 80s? That was a film that Norman hadn't seen. I think that was 80s. Tom Hanks and Carrie Fisher. Because we were talking about Bruce Dern and how much of a great actor Bruce Dern was. He's not dead. It's incredibly horrible of you, Stephen. I think I may have went a bit too far in here as well. I should probably look at that square room. But yeah, just how great Bruce Dern was. And then I did point out that he was in a WWE Studios film with Triple H. I think it was the Chaperone or whatever it was called, and it was just not a good film. But as I've talked to several actors before about this, you know, if you're a jobbing actor, which is the way they describe themselves, they basically just pick whatever, you know, they sometimes take whatever work comes their way. So, you know, so this idea that us geeks would like to think that a lot of people want to be in these films, because if we ever had the opportunity to, we would just do it. Well, very often that's not the case. Very often you'll just find an actor who'll go, I did it because it was a job and it was an opportunity and the only thing that was available at the time. And, you know, but they're not. I don't think that's being dickish. I just think that's them being honest and frank. And you know, if they're not nerdish about something because they don't like it, and then that's up to them. You know, you can't make them. But I do, as a really, like, you know, outspoken geek, I do sometimes wish that certain people were like more aware of how privileged they are for being in something so amazing, you know. Yeah, I'm thinking of, is it David Warner or David Werner? I interviewed on the podcast. For those who don't know who he is, he was the ambassador in Star Trek. The Klingon ambassador that gets killed in the undiscovered country. And I asked him about being in an iconic thing such as Star Trek, and he just said I was a working actor who got offered a part, and I, you know, just took it because of that reason. And yeah, I was kind of just a bit like, I tried to sort of just, you know, ask him about the sort of but I suppose it's a bit like, I know there was one particular website that I was looking at that was making a big deal about Brent Spiner, who played Data in Star Trek: The Next Generation. He was basically saying that they had issue with the fact that he was asked the Data question at a convention, and he just said, you know, I get asked this too many times, and he seemed a bit pissed off. and loads of people kind of had a go at him for basically saying that, you know, this is the person that made you and all that other thing. And he was like, I think what he was just getting at, it's not a case of being asked a data question. It's just if you've been asked the same thing over and over again. I interview people. It's part of my company's, you know, job is to interview people. You know, it's what I really enjoy doing. And your job as an interviewer or journalist is not to ask the obvious question. You know, if you've done any research at all, you would know that, you know, what was it, you know, having the generic, like, what was it like being Data on Star Trek, then you really need to look at any interview that they've ever done. It's a bit like, there was a lot of flack in England, and I know it got a lot of internet exposure when Quentin Tarantino was being interviewed by Kristen, I don't remember his full name, Kristen Murphy, that's his name. And yeah, he was interviewing him on Channel 4 and about Django Unchained, and he asked him about violence in films, and he basically said, I'm not wanting to talk about that. And he's like, well, why? You've got violence in your films. He said, because... And Tarantino's answer, although he was angry and it looked a bit bad, his point was valid. He basically said, look, if you want to know what I think about violence in films, look at anybody who's ever asked me anything in the last 20 years in any interview, and my opinion hasn't changed. So if my opinion hasn't changed, why do you feel the need to answer, you know, to ask me? And I'm like, well, I understand that. It's a bit like saying, like, you know, if someone came, I don't know, I mean, I'm not even remotely comparing it to Quentin Tarantino, but, you know, I just kind of think of it as if someone came up to me and go, you know, Hesse, are you a geek? I'm like, well, I have a company called Geek Apocalypse, and I watch, majority of programs I watch are sci-fi, geeky-based things. I obsess about anything that I love, because that's what geeks do. You know, have I finished this? I just realised I think I finished this. Have I got all of them? Yeah, I think I've got all the stuff now, so I don't need to. Because I just noticed it said go back to Atty, but I was too busy talking, so I was just like killing loads of spiders. But yeah, it's just it's an interesting thing, because it very often is taken out of context, because they'll take a soundbite, which is one of the reasons why I love podcasting, is because you can get like a whole hour with someone, and then you usually find that majority of people will listen or watch. If it's a video podcast, they'll watch it in stages, but the point is you'll get the whole context because you'll get the whole conversation. So it's not like a program that goes, oh, Christian Guru Murphy was interviewing Quentin Tarantino and Quentin Tarantino didn't like the question. Totally destroys any other question that's been asked. So taking it out of context, so then it comes across as Tarantino being crazy and just deciding to flip it. But if you actually watch the whole unedited interview, he gets asked it similar questions related to that several times, and yeah, it's just, you know, I'm sort of halfway really, because I think if you're in the public eye and you're going to be interviewed by someone, you should give the audience, the interviewer, the privilege of, you know, and the nicety to be able to ask whatever it is that they want within reason. You know, obviously not evading your privacy or anything like that, but I really, the least enjoyable interviews I've ever done, and I know are going to be not interesting to the public domain, is any interview you get where someone opens it by going, so what questions are you going to ask me? You know, I'm always going to have a rough idea about what I'm going to ask, and I'm not saying this is the way you should, you know, every interview should be done from anyone who wants to become an interviewer, but I know that to get the best interview out of myself and the person I'm interviewing is that you want to get on audio or on camera them thinking about an answer, because that's what's interesting. You want to see a human being think about something and give you an answer that no one else has gave. which is what Tarantino's point was. You know, if you want you know, it's like the word exclusive when it's used as like exclusive interview. I find that very interesting. That it's very often, you know, an exclusive interview would be I would regard an exclusive interview as something that someone hadn't said before, and then maybe you could use the word exclusive. I mean, I know they use it as like, oh, it's the only interview maybe they're going to do that day for that person, but my point is that, to me, if anything should be an interestingly unique interview, it should be that they talk about stuff that they've never talked about. It's like there's one on YouTube that I really love. George Strophilopoulos, or whatever his name, I don't know how to say his second name, but he's a Canadian, like Greek origin Canadian broadcaster, and he's got a great interview style. And there's an interview he does with Bill Maher, who I'm a huge fan of, and Bill Maher basically just in one of that interviews, it's on YouTube, he talks about stuff that Bill, like a candid interview with him, and he talks about stuff that I've never seen him talk about in other interviews, because obviously Bill Maher, who's a political, you know, comedian, a political, you know, activist and thinker in America, and he's very often talked about the political scene, but he's very often, you know, asked about, you know, his regular life in a sort of acceptable way, really. And it was just really interesting to hear what he was really like, you know, and that, like, really like, as in, I wasn't thinking he was a twat or anything. I just wanted to know more about him because I admire him. I think he's a great comedian and a great host, and so yeah, it's just interesting. Ooh, we've got to defeat Lorius. Oh god, are you kidding me? Is there a way I can get through here? Believe it or not, I just went all that way, and it's just asked me to go all the way back. So, it may be another story time while I walk all the way back to that friggin' cave I just was in. But yeah, it's just interesting because, like I say, what I meant by sort of a halfway house in terms of interviewing is that you want the ability for the interviewer to respond to your response, which is what, I'm with Joe Rogan actually, because in terms of what Joe Rogan said about, he hates the word interview. You know, if you ever watch his podcasts are like 3 hours long and they're ridiculously great. And I've watched a lot of them fairly recently, and I really like his point about the word interview, and he just doesn't like it. And the reason he says that is similar to my thoughts on it, is that you don't want an interview because an interview very often, especially with the sort of main market ones that are not as popular as they once were, because people have sort of realized that they're pre-recorded, pre-set up and pre-interviews and all this sort of stuff, is that it feels more like an interrogation. It's like, so why should people watch your show? Well, because I made this thing and I'm kind of hopeful, like, but why? There's so many shows out there. Why do you think you're so special? Well, I just put a thing out and all that kind of stuff. And then, well, but that's not good enough. Like, we're asking you why your show's unique, and we're giving you this opportunity, and you should be grateful. And you know, and yeah, it's a bit weird. It's just not really seems worth it to me as much as you would think, but anyhow, I'm a huge fan of interviews. I mean, I love hearing about what people are up to, like, and why they do the things they do. I think the most interesting question you can ask anyone is why they do certain things. It's really, really, really interesting. You know, why did they make the choices they made, and how did they end up being the way that they are? Because that is the kind of, you know, the chalice question, you know, the holy grail question. That's really what you want to know. But very often or not, the reason why people get asked that question too many times is because a lot of people want to hear that to get anywhere, it doesn't require hard work. You know, you just get handed people watching you on Twitch. You get handed people giving you a well-respected, well-known podcast. Ooh, we have a fellowship. I'm assuming he wants help or something. Yeah, I wonder if he wonders he's on stream. Clearly not, he won't know. Okay. Well, this is good that we got this guy to help. Level 6. We land. Where is this friggin' person? Hopefully we can find Uraneth, and that'll be probably the last thing, at least one of the last things we do before the stream ends. I'm assuming she's through here. I'm assuming she's a she. Oh, that might be incredibly sexist of me. I'm assuming she's somewhere in here. Oh, we don't want to do that. Oops. Ah, so that would, if only I had known that there's actually an alternate way of getting into here. It's really frustrating. That's really frustrating, I thought. God, I'm going through so many spiders. It's a good thing these are on a video game, because if they weren't, I would be screaming like a little girl. Not that I've been. I've kind of been screaming like a little girl anyway, so. Why break a habit? Am I right? Come on, hit. There you go. Aha. Looks more promising. This looks more promising. It's like a house. With spiders and stuff. With spiders taking control. So that's what we want. We want to hopefully. I don't know why I decided to do a fellowship with this dude, because he's wandered off. But I think we get the spider bonuses by doing that, maybe. Listen for the deeds. But for some reason, maybe it is my memory. Yeah, I thought so. It's my memory from the last time I played this, this area. I remember her being in a room, so that's just. I can't remember yesterday or last week, but I can remember 2 years ago playing on this game where, you know, so I guess that shows you what kind of tells you what I think about it, I suppose. Okay, Uraneth. Let's check on you, find out how badly you are. That's not the worst. Let's go. You're on the table. Let's go on the table. On the table. Reminded me of a U2 song there. No, she was well, she was easy. Ooh, a trophy. Yay! One of the things you can get in this game as well is a house to put your trophies and stuff in, which is really fun. On the table. I think we're done. Well, I don't help him, this guy. I don't even know why he agreed to be a person with me if he's just wandering off doing stuff. I think he was doing it for the spider stuff. Maybe. Leave. I'm just running now. Look at all them spiders following me. I'm running to save time. There we go. That was fun. Oh, it tells you there, skirmishes, which is that we got skirmish marks for the deed if we complete it. That's what you get items and stuff. My hunter, which is level 24, has quite a few stuff. Ooh, if I kill 15 more spiders, I get the deed. I'm wondering, is it worth it? Maybe I can kill them and then continue my talking about interviews technique. Ooh. My streams has come up. War for the Overworld has just announced an update, which is good because that was one of the projects on Kickstarter that I backed. Is a game called War for the Overworld, which is a game. Which is a game. Yeah, it's a game. That's all you need to know. It's a game. So go and get it. It is basically the unofficial Dungeon Keeper 3. Dungeon Keeper is one of my favourite games of all time, the first one. I mean, some people argue the second one's good, but I wasn't really a fan of the second one as much. Still good, but not great. I mean, we're probably going to stream them on Old School Mondays if we can figure out how to get it to work. So yeah, one of the I've lost my train of thought. Yeah, War for the Overworld. So yeah, it is Peter Molyneux, who made Bullfrog in the 90s, who has made Godot. Is it what's it called? Godot or something? That game on the game that made loads of money on Kickstarter. Godus, that's it. Project Godus. He basically endorsed it as well. It's made by a game. We had them on the podcast. It was like the 5th episode we ever did. Talking about them making essentially Dungeon Keeper 3, but they just couldn't use the name Dungeon Keeper because it was owned by EA. Because EA bought Bullfrog out in the early, like late 1990s, 2000s, and kind of to show how much I don't like EA and kind of tells you what they're kind of like is that I just realised I've lost one of the skills because I pointed and clicked by mistake. Just make sure I correct that. But yeah, they bought out Bullfrog and got everybody who was involved left in the studio to make the Harry Potter game. So they went from having like sort of a say in what they were making to, sorry, you're gonna make Harry Potter and you haven't got a choice because we now own you. And so really ended Bullfrog as a company, really, because Peter Molyneux went on to do other things, such as Fable. The studio that made Fable was Peter Molyneux. Peter Molyneux's kind of a hit and miss with people because he's regarded as a legend. He's always on the sort of top 20 most influential game designers for making Populous, which kind of a lot of games are, you know, based on. Because that was the first sort of building a base type game in the late 80s. But he's very often known for, let's see, I just got some marks for that. Yay, and some honour. Very nice. See, I'm always an honourable person when I put my mind to it. But yeah, so Peter Molyneux's kind of hit and miss because he'll very often announce a game like he did in the 90s and go, this game's going to be awesome, and here's why. It's going to have this, it's going to have that, it's going to have this, it's going to have that. And then it'll have probably about 10% of what he promised. So but in his defence, and I'm not his defence lawyer whatsoever, as a person with a business and a person with plans and ideas, it's very easy to get into the situation where you feel you constantly come up with ideas, and not all the time do you ever like put them into practice. But one of the things that business people do better than anyone is they'll put more plans in actions than most. You know, how many people can you name that you know that'll go, oh, you know what it is, I've always wanted to write a book, and they'll never do it. They'll just always say, I've always wanted to do it, but what they really mean is I would love to write a book without having to do the work. Whereas a lot of people with businesses will go, I want to do this, and they'll actually spend their time trying to make it happen. So it really comes down to whether you want to, you know, you want to criticize someone for trying to do their dreams and failing, or you can be someone who goes, well, I want to do this thing, but I'm not going to do it. You know, I keep thinking you're going to do it and then don't. You know, I'd rather be like Peter Molyneux, and that I'd rather, you know, do a game as best I can and then not reach all of my goals than have a bunch of goals and not, you know, and not make any goals come true because I'm just afraid of failing. Like, I don't think that's useful. So there's Stephen's thought of the day. Okay, let's see what this helm makes me look like. Don't really understand the top bit. Let's just leave it on for now. You can choose to hide it and disappear it, which I probably will do for the sake of, because I'm, you know, a little bit egotistical. I'd like to see my character's face because I'm that type of guy. So I think what we're gonna do is.
Are you looking for something, friend?
Hang on a second. What's this barter exchange trainer? What does he do? Why is he blue?
What do you need?
Ah, you can exchange these for novice mark. What's that? A pocket, out of combat run speed. Sweet! Give. What did that say? On use. I just missed that. On use plus 10 run speed. Sweet. Let's have that. Great, we got a faster run speed. That'll help with streaming this in the future. Very good, Mr. Bond. So let's.
Are you looking for something, friend?
God, yeah, so many died. Look at all them coffins. So, right, I want to get rid of the dirty ear. Get rid of the matted skins. Let's not really get rid of all of them because I imagine that some of these are gonna be needed for. You can trade them in for reputation, so maybe we should keep some of them, but I'm gonna, anything under 10 I'm gonna get rid of. Okay, let's get rid of them as well. Just go for chainmails. Get rid of that because I'm not using it anymore. I think that's it. Oh, I just realised we've got some field mushrooms that I've been completely ignoring. Where are you? Mushrooms. So as I say, with food, as I say, this gives you +3 agility, which is good for hunters, but might help me a little bit. Obviously, with me being a melee, I want my strength traits to go up. But I think with me being in a town. Where's this talk to? Where there all this stuff? Okay, so I don't need to be at the Hunting Lodge. Yes, I just need to go to Coombe. So maybe I should go to Coombe. So yeah, I was gonna say I was gonna end the stream there because I'm in a town, but then I thought actually I can get to Coombe before I need to be before 9 o'clock. So let's do that. So then we're not gonna be spending the start of next Friday just walking around like a numpty, because Kevin Sobo does not do that. Kevin Sobo is a legend. He doesn't walk places. He saunts there like a hawk, because he's that type of guy. I'd like to meet Kevin Sobo one day. He's cool. He's a cool creature. He's a cool man with a cool heart. It's a bit like, as I mentioned Joe Rogan the other day, that one of the things that amused me was that he was really, really flattered and happy that he met, what's his name from Walker's Texas Ranger? Adopted father. No, thank you. No, thank you. I don't want to be your adopted father. I want you to piss off. Ooh, a signature. A signature usually means that they're harder to kill. What's that toolbox? Ah! This dude. Bring toolbox to build that era. Oh, God! Means going back. Alright. But yes, some bloody bloke wants me to be his adopted father. I don't think so. But no, who was the guy in Walker's Texas Ranger? It's gonna kill me. I know his friggin' name. He was in bloody Expendables for all of 2 minutes, and he basically, like, waved. He waved his hand and then fucked off. Oh God, it's gonna kill me. But anyway, basically, he met him at Joe Rogan met him in an event, and he said he knew him, and he just said it was the greatest day of his life that this guy knew who he was, and they were talking about, because Walker's Texas Ranger is great because they showed a clip on one of his podcasts where it was as funny as I remember Walker's Texas Ranger, where he kicks somebody out of a window and just so happens to land on the bottom. This is like a random building, and he just happens to land into a pile of explosive canisters that just explode on impact. So yeah, it's not only that he does this amazing kick to kick him out of the window. It's like, nope. Not only that, but he's gonna just blow shit up as well.
How can I be of service?
It's really annoying me that I don't remember the guy's name, because he's an absolute legend as well.
Will you give me a moment of your
Anyway.
time,
I can get to Cumin. In a couple of minutes, I'd say. That has a cooldown of 11 minutes. Well, at least it gives me plus 10 speed. Run like the wind, run, Kevin Sorbo. But yeah, as I was saying in one of the parts earlier, though, when I read Kevin Sorbo's book and found out that he had this brain aneurysm and he was severely, he's fucked basically, and yet the studio made him do the second series of Hercules, and I remember watching that as a kid and going, God, that's so fucking lazy. I mean, Kevin Sorbo has, like, I feel really bad for sort of having a go at him. Little young me basically going, like, Kevin Sorbo has the easiest fucking job in the world. He sits on a log, he reads these really easy lines, and then they do clip shows of previous episodes that tie in, and you think, oh, it's story based, it's story development. No, it was the writers had to give him in because he wasn't medically cleared to do anything bad. It was amazing, like, I'd probably, if you look back at it now and looked at the final couple of seasons, I'm interested to know, like, if it's noticeable, like, if he lost any muscle mass or anything, because I imagine that's probably plausible. Thank you, gods. Save me the trouble of killing me. If you want to know what happened there, they killed the Mad Bristle on my behalf. Very kind of them. I'm now entering Coombe. As you see, there's a whole bunch of people waiting for me, clapping with admiration. But I think, instead of going around doing these quests, because that was going to take some... here we go, we've got time, let's do it.
I don't know if you can help me.
Well,
could I
that's
speak
actually
with you
not
a
strictly true, because you know you can help me because there's a quest. With you've got a ring round your head. It's basically saying you can. Your friend, JMK, has gone offline. Oh no. So I'm just reading the world feed on here. Wow,
Can I
there's a lot of
speak with
questions
you a
here.
moment?
I actually wondered because in the hunter bit,
Greetings.
you're going to
Stay
get
a
one
moment.
question here, and the rest are pretty. Oh, I hate that. Okay, I'm too far away. Stupid thing.
I'm sorry to trouble you, but... will you
Find
help
the
me?
hanging tree, swaying in the breeze. What a great band, Queens of the Stone Age. Great band. If you haven't heard of them, check them out. I'm sure you if you have heard of them,
Stay
you've
a
probably heard of
moment.
a song called No One Knows. They had Dave Grohl on that album on drums. Yes, Dave Grohl from the legendary Foo Fighters, drummer of Nirvana, drummed with Queens of the Stone Age. And I think Josh Homme is a genius, who's lead singer of that band. He's a great musician. Cool. I think we'll end it there with staring at the bartender and looking down her cleavage. We will end today's viewership of Lord of the Rings Online. I've been Stephen Hesse, and thank you so much if you've looked into watch the stream, watched any of my videos. All the videos for this week will be on the YouTube channel, so if you've watched this, look at the Torchlight, Shadows of Mordor, Hearthstone, Faster Than Light, and Lord of the Rings. And next week will be Monday will be Torchlight, Tuesday will be Bloodborne, which has just came out today, Wednesday Hearthstone, Thursday either Faster Than Light or a new game, probably a new game, because I just Faster Than Light was a substitute for Dead State. I might try to see if I can get Dead State to work. Actually, maybe I'll do that. And then finally, Lord of the Rings again next week. So follow us, like us, tell all your friends, and thank you so much for taking the time to look out to have a look at our stuff. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you Monday. Bye.